Hey guys, welcome back to Done with Depression. Today we're talking about my experience going back to work. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I was in an inpatient program. I got out of that, went to an IOP program, and then I was supposedly good to go and ready to go back to work. So this took about 4 weeks of time between the inpatient and then me actually getting into the IOP program and then having a couple days still before I went back to work. And then I was supposed to go back to work. I went back to work, and if you guys don't know, I'm a manager, so I manage about 25 other employees directly, and we work together day to day. Some of the stresses that I experienced from work before I left are obviously still there when you come back. And because someone is just watching the store that I'm at and not physically in the store 40 hours a week like I would have been, it means you have some of the same problems as when you left, and you have like a lot more problems when you come back because there you just need someone in the store 40 hours a week, and when you don't have that, a lot of things happen and a lot of things fall off and that sort of thing. So my experience when I came back to work was it was almost tougher when I came back than when I originally left. And with IOP, we did a lot of coping strategies, but for me, what I really needed was a lot of the processing, and I didn't really get any processing in inpatient or in IOP. So it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound. Sometimes it's going to work, but in my case, the wound was too large and the Band-Aid didn't really cover up anything. So I go back to work. We're also completely changing our labor system and going to a new labor system, so that's a huge change. There's like 3 training event sort of things that we were supposed to be doing as well. So building that into the schedule was obviously more complicated. A lot of the people that I worked with had felt like I broke some of their trust by leaving and maybe weren't as supportive of me as when I left. And again, that's compounded by being a manager. It's hard because you have all of these people that are depending on you day to day, and you're not only dealing with your problems, but you're also dealing with all of their problems. And whether or not they understand that, when they come to me, a lot of times it's just one person coming to me with one issue, but when you multiply that by 25 different people that work under you and then dealing with a lot of things yourself, it is very complicated and very stressful going back to work, along with all of the other changes that were happening and the training things and all of that. It was very difficult. So I made it back to work for about 2 or 3 weeks. There were a lot of questions on why I was gone and that sort of thing. My therapist had said that just tell them as much as you want to tell them and kind of leave it at that. But sometimes people push a little bit more and they want to know where you were, why you're gone so long. There was also a rumor while I was gone that I had the flu, but obviously when you're gone for 4 weeks, you don't have the flu and it's something else. So people kind of catch on to that. I also made the mistake of posting one picture to Instagram, and because I looked okay on the outside, obviously dealing with depression and suicidal ideations, you sometimes look okay on the outside, but you're not okay on the inside. But when they see that on Instagram, that's all that they really see. So I just had a real struggle going back to work. I was trying to rebuild relationships, catch up with all the other stuff that was going on, and I just couldn't do it. I didn't feel successful. I didn't feel valuable. A lot of it was my own self-esteem, and a lot of it was issues that I was still dealing with from before that I hadn't really processed and dealt with yet. So all of these issues are just compounding, and I just break down essentially, and I go to my therapist and I'm like, hey, this is not working. Life sucks. Everything sucks. I can't do it. I'm falling apart. I want to quit my job. I just can't do it. And so she recommended me to go to the PHP, or partial hospitalization program. And that's kind of where I am now. You can check up on future videos. I'm going to go into PHP, IOP again, and PHP again, as well as another inpatient one. So we're about halfway through the journey here, but you can follow, like, subscribe, write comments in the comment section. We can get a good community going here talking about depression, and stay tuned for more events in my journey here. Also, if you guys like to read, I have 2 books in the description. One I just finished, called 4 Agreements, and one I'm working on right now, Intelligent Investor. There's links in the description down there. You guys can check it out, Amazon links, and see what I'm reading. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for future videos.